Hey everybody, Nicholas here with Jamsey Online, standing here in the machine shop, and today's video I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about the different cleaning processes that we use here in the shop. I made a short video about this like a week or two ago, just talking about, somebody asked, do the engines come to you clean or do they come to you dirty and you have to clean them? And I made my response video that no, they usually look a lot more like this when they come into our shop compared to looking like this perfectly clean when they leave our shop. This is where we tear down the engines when they come in, and we have our different cleaning methods here. So right here we have a small spray cabinet. It's basically like a giant dishwasher but for engine parts. This one, although it says caustic on the door, we don't actually run a caustic mix in this. What we do run is a strong detergent, and it gets the water hot almost to boiling and sprays that detergent on it. And this is the machine that we always run aluminum parts in, as well as running smaller parts in or running blocks in after they've been glass beaded. Now in this corner we have our larger spray cabinet, and this one we do run a caustic mix in. And what that means is we can do anything steel, anything cast iron, but we can't run aluminum parts in this machine because the cleaning solution will eat the aluminum. That's what caustic does. It'll just completely melt the aluminum away. On top of that, like I explained, here we have our industrial bake oven. And basically what this does is it's an oven just like your standard oven in your kitchen, but we put our engine parts in here and we usually run it at around 650 degrees Fahrenheit for 4 to 6 hours. And what that does is it completely dries any moisture out of the blocks, as well as taking any grease that looks like this, and it basically completely burns it away. So it pretty much turns the grease into a powder. So just looking here, all that grease that was nasty and wet and would catch all the glass beads, all of that is just turned to a powder now, so we're able to then abrasively clean it off. As I also explained in the video, at that point these two blocks here are ready to go in the machine and they'll be cleaned. And basically this machine has glass beads in it. It's a regular old blast cabinet. You do it by hand, but instead of being a sandblaster, we have these tiny glass beads. And here's the glass beads that we run: Rock Ridge abrasives, glass beads. The question that I then get is, okay, how abrasive is it? Well, it's not enough that it's going to screw any surfaces or anything like that up. Usually the biggest concern is how do you get the glass beads back out of all the oil passages and the coolant passages? Well, that's where the spray cabinet comes in, and I'm going to show you guys that here in a minute. Now, the last machine that we have that we use for kind of the smaller parts, such as cylinder heads, is our steel Braider steel shot machine. And basically what this is a giant tumbler that basically we put the cylinder heads in this cage, and the cage rotates, and down in the bottom there's an impeller that flings these little tiny pieces of steel shot, and that'll abrasively clean anything. It'll clean all the rust off. And like I said, we always bake them before they go in here, so everything's dry and they come out looking super clean. So again, we kind of have the three stages. They come in looking like this: years of dirt and grease caked on, as well as the paint. After they've been baked, they're going to look a lot more like this. All of that grease and silicone and everything has just been completely turned to dust, basically. It's been burned away. And when they come out of that machine, they look like a brand new casting. They're perfectly clean, no rust. It even does a pretty good job of getting down in the coolant passages and getting all of the corrosion out of those. So again, I'm not quite ready to run this block through, but you can picture this is what a typical engine block looks like when it comes into the shop. Sometimes they're cleaner than others, but this is kind of, almost worst case scenario. It's got tons of grease caked on. You can still see all the paint on it. We've got all kinds of oil on the inside of the engine, and once it's been baked, it's going to look a lot more like these. All the grease has been burnt off, and any oil that was in it is dried out. Any moisture that was in it is completely dried out. and it's ready to go in the glass beater. The other thing I should note is we have a dust collector that basically sucks all of the dust out of the air in the blast cabinet as well as the steel abrader, so that it doesn't dust up the shop. So you got to make sure this is turned on when you're glass beating or running the steel abrader. Here's what the block looks like after it's been glass beaded, including all of the corrosion glass beaded out of the water jackets. So at this point, we'll get it in the spray cabinet so that we can get it completely thoroughly washed, rinsed, and then we'll blow it out.
There you go, doing all the work again.
So now I've got this Jeep block in here, same thing, we baked it, and I'm gonna do the blasting on it.
It's hot. Did I?
Now, here's the finished product, and as you can see, it's nice and clean. At the most, we've got a little bit of just surface rusting. Just, it's almost impossible not to have that. As soon as you take it out of the spray cabinet, it's gonna start rusting a little bit, but in our dry climate here in Colorado, usually this surface rust is really about all you get by the time, they'll stay like this. I mean, we cleaned this block. This block's literally been sitting here over a year, and you can see it's got, just a little bit of surface rust on it, and that's really all it. By blasting it, we've been able to get down in the water passages, and we've gotten nearly all of the corrosion, the rust that's built up inside the coolant passages, all of that is completely blasted out. And you might ask, okay, why do you care? It's inside the coolant passages, nobody's gonna see it. It's not like it's in the in the oil or anything like that. Well, by doing that, it's actually going to make your coolant work better. It's going to make it more efficient, and the cooling of your engine is going to work better. Again, how do you get all the glass beads out? You run it through the spray cabinet, and as you saw there, I rinse with water every single hole in the block. I take the water gun, it's got a long nozzle on it that I'm able to get down inside every single hole, and I rinse until nothing comes out. Then I come in with the compressed air. We blow out every single hole. That means I don't skip a single hole, whether it's an oil passage or whether it's just a bolt hole on the outside of the block. You know, we're gonna rinse it out and we're gonna blow it out. And that's how we get these blocks clean and get all of the glass beads out of them. The two things that make sure that we get the glass beads out is the very first thing is baking it. That gets all of the moisture out. If you have moisture in the block when you glass bead it, it's almost inevitable that you're gonna have glass beads that are stuck because they get stuck in the moisture. But when you have everything dry, you're able to blast it and everything will come back out. After we've done that, we rinse them really, really thoroughly and blow them out really, really thoroughly, and you just gotta take the time to do it. That's why a lot of shops don't. They don't wanna take the time because like I said in my previous video, it doesn't pay as well. It doesn't pay as well as just running it through the spray cabinet and calling it good. But it's a better product, it keeps our shop cleaner, and it makes the customer happier. So that's why we take the time to do it. I also forgot to mention, the cleaner it is on the outside, the better our visual inspection is gonna be, and the better our magnetic particle inspection is gonna be. If it's not clean, it's gonna be a lot harder to see those cracks when you're trying to do an inspection, but when it's clean, everything shows up really, really easily. So to show you how the steel braider works, here we've got a cylinder head that we've just finished baking. So basically, this cage is gonna rotate with the head in it, and it's gonna spin that head completely around, while at the same time, the impeller in the bottom, I can't show you, but the impeller there in the bottom is flinging steel shot up against the head. And it's basically shot peening the cylinder head and cleaning it at the same time abrasively with that steel shot. Get it closed, turn the dust collector on, tumbler is on, that's what rotates it, and I'll do 10 minutes. 10 minutes has gone by on the steel braider, and there we have a nice and clean head. 10 minutes, hands off, and it does a pretty dang good job of cleaning everything. Might leave a little bit of rust in the passages, you know, the water passages, maybe in the ports just a tiny bit, but 10 minutes is enough to clean it without completely deteriorating all of the surfaces and threads and so on. So again, just for the fun of comparison, they come in looking something like this. This one's still fully assembled, but you've got years of grease caked on there, dirt and grease and so on. At that point, we bake them in our oven. That's when it comes out looking like this. You can see all the paint, all the grease, it's just turned to basically dust here. You know, that's kind of what it looks like. And then we have the final cleaned product. Once it's gone through the steel braider, it looks like this. Like a virtually brand new casting compared to after it's been baked and what it comes in looking like. Now, I don't have this spray cabinet fired up today. I don't have the heater on or anything, and I'm not gonna get a chance to today. So I'll find some old footage of running something in there and I'll throw it in the video for you guys. So here I was able to find a couple of clips of the large spray cabinet being used to clean a John Deere block. We use a caustic cleaning solution in the spray cabinet, which includes sodium hydroxide and sodium carbonate. It is actually a very basic solution as opposed to acidic as most people assume, and that being said, we do have to be very cautious as it is dangerous for you. How well the spray cabinet works depends on how strong the detergent mix is, how hot the heater is, which is usually just under boiling temperature, how long the parts run for, and how heavy the paint, grease, etc. is on the parts. Taking all of those variables into account, this block came clean, free of any dirt and grease, but the old paint still shows. As another example, here we have an N14 Cummins block that we cleaned for a customer, and obviously both of these blocks are too big to bake and blast in our equipment, so we're forced to only wash them. This one came out very clean, but you will notice that the spray cabinet does not eliminate rust and corrosion the same way that blasting will, which is why we usually prefer to blast. So the main benefits to using the spray cabinet are that it's more hands-off, it's less time-consuming, and we aren't going to be worried about filling the passages with glass beads,
although we still have to rinse very well anyway to get the rest of the machining chips and grit out before it leaves our shop. So the main cons to using the spray cabinet are that it's less environmentally friendly, as it creates a ton of toxic waste that we then have to manage responsibly. The caustic also poses a health risk to us and any employees who may use the machine, and in our opinion, it's a less effective cleaning option at the end of the day. Now, here are some aluminum heads that I'll run through my smaller spray cabinet.
So for the sake of the video, I want to point out that all 3 of these heads here have been run through the small spray cabinet. Again, aside from glass beading, that is our only way to clean aluminum parts, because we cannot run them in the large spray cabinet because it uses caustic. So what you'll notice, obviously, these look a lot cleaner than they were when they came in. When they came in, covered in dirt, covered in grease, covered in oil, most of that is gone. What it doesn't cut is, a lot of the carbon buildup, especially in this head. I ran these ones longer than I ran this one, but you'll see that that's never going to get them perfectly clean. There's always going to be a little bit of carbon buildup. Any amount of gasket. We've got some dirt and corrosion on this side. It's never going to get it clean enough. And I could be wrong. Maybe our equipment is just inferior. So if you have a shop and you do this all the time and you've got a better cleaning solution that's easier, make a video and send it to me. Seriously, we're investing in new equipment in our shop. I'd love to see what you guys are using. But the fact stands, with what we have here in our shop, the best method of cleaning is in the glass bead machine.
Again, the heads have to be completely dry before glass beading. You either have to cover every oil passage with tape or make sure that every oil galley plug is removed. Once blasting is finished, you must be extremely thorough with your rinsing and blow every passage out thoroughly, which it seems most shops won't take the time to do. And I'm not saying that to act like we're better, I'm just telling you how it seems to be.
All right, everybody, that kind of wraps it up for the cleaning processes that we use here in the shop. I'll kind of throw those in as we're doing videos here and there, but maybe this will just kind of be like a broad overview for those of you who are interested in the different cleaning methods we use in an automotive machine shop. And I can, link you guys to this video when you have those questions. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And don't forget to hit the like and subscribe on this video. That really helps us out and helps us make more cool videos showing you everything that we do here in our machine shop. So thank you for watching.